finds this most logical and says, and I have this on the way. He will say, I have been investigating quite a bit. We have some basic problems here. The people in our neighborhood are being exploited under the cover of law, under the cover of the legal system. There are people who are exploiting that, can you believe it, to take away to harm the health and the livelihood of people here. So it is making them vulnerable to the incursions of chaos, and it is a scandal.
Yeah, totally agree.
The law should not be used against the benefit of persons. And he's quite ready. He wants to really. We need to do something about this. So we need to clear out the whole political system. We need to audit the books of the temple. I'm sure that some terrible counterfeits and other, or at least carelessness has hampered the work of the church here.
Yes.
We have a lot to do.
Absolutely,
Martin. We can really make a great place. We can do some good.
I concur. Totally.
Which is what order is for.
Yes, and we should probably place someone of our own in the midst of this to control the political system.
He looks at you and says, "That's right."
Yes.
I would not myself presume to be
gross.
playing that role, but if people insisted, I would have no choice.
That could very well happen.
So the two of you are discussing these
Conspiring,
issues,
I guess.
right? Discussing these issues on the way. Are you going to take him to where you were?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Yeah. Perfect. But we have another issue. We need to take down that unsightly little tree on the street corner that blocks traffic.
He says it does seem a little out of place.
Yeah.
It's asymmetrical.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Look, there's a park over there.
Yep, it should be not here at least.
He shakes his head and says, Martin, I commend your sense of symmetry, but right now we have more things too important to deal with than one tree.
Yeah, but please make a note of it.
He does. Literally.
I'm happy.
And now to Robert, who is busy with the battle situation. And in this battle situation, the spearmen have met the lancers, and they remember the fish people are riding on these eels. These things are terrible. I mean, they are really big, and they swarm and loop around, and they seem really good at maneuvering, so they never get in each other's way. And the Bloodhawks are having a pretty hard time against these guys. They are forming into spear groups, which is the right thing to do, but these guys move in kind of this way around them, and so a good line of spearmen has been very, very hard to establish. So that is going on. This is what you are watching. But after a minute or two, you can see that the leader of the fish people, of the squad leader, is recognizable after a little bit. That's the fellow. That is the one who's directing the actions of the troop right here, the one they look to for their commands. I'm sorry. He has to have a conch shell that he's blowing in for the signals. I know. So you were able to identify that guy, and you are with about 6 other fighters, roughly equivalent ability of yours, probably first level, not second, and they are they're waiting for. I mean, it is up to you. You are cut off from the rest of the command structure. It's up to you guys to decide when to come in and attack, and you have identified that fellow. So what do you plan to do at this time?
Mm. Do I have any ranged weapons?
Well, at the moment you were going in with the handheld weapons. You guys are there's range combat that's occurring, but at this point your job is to go in and actually make an example of the leaders right there among the people who follow them. That's the job.
Mm.
So no, you are not armed with range weapons. Your job is to go in and actually do a real fight with their leaders and put them down to break the fighters' morale.
Where was the squad leader, and was he on an eel?
Yes.
Yeah.
The squad leader, you are coming out from around here. The squad leader has looped around in coordination with the guys standing up here to toot his horn at them and get the go-ahead signal from them. And then he now is joining the fight, which is right here exactly. And swarming out through this area around this corner.
Yeah, I think that now's the time.
Excellent. So the key here is that I don't really feel like playing all these different fighters. I'm going to abstract this a little bit, but right now it's initiative. There's no surprise involved. Well, the question is whether they are surprised by you guys. That is a good question.
And we're attacking their flank.
Right, exactly. Or the trouble is that the melee has become a lot more disorganized than the Bloodhawks would like.
A surprise attack.
Yes.
And being attacked in their flank is
as best as you can. Yes. Yeah. So that means I am rolling to see whether they are surprised. They're not. So the people see your group, right, and a whole bunch of. I'm trying to think of the noises that they make or anything like that. They fight in silence, which is creepy, except for their signals. And what they probably do is out here in the air. Yeah, who knows? They are signaling to one another somehow. You're not sure how. And so you don't get a free attack. Is all that means.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're aiming toward the leader character, we should go straight to that. This thing is pretty big and monstrous, and so therefore, having the 6 helpers is a really good idea. So basically, the question is whether you can. The question is whether you can get at the leader while the others engage the heel. You are the superior fighter among your group, and so it is determined that you are the right guy for this. So I'm going to kind of do an eel fight of my own, more or less, as an ongoing thing, and we will see how the group is doing against the eel. There. 10. Ooh. Okay. God, these things are huge. Now, so ultimately, the first thing is that this guy is mounted on his eel, which is a bit of a advantage, but the engagement is going to effectively keep him from using his monster against you as a single opponent. In other words, the eel is being distracted enough that it cannot coordinate well with his movements, and so you can engage him. and perhaps try to get him off of there or something like that. It's rocky, slippery. There's a wind is blowing. The ocean breeze is, filling everywhere, and and at any moment you could take a stray hit from even one of the Bloodhawks by accident, let alone the enemy. Right? There are people fighting around you, so it's kind of a scary situation. But you have your goal. That guy is up there on that eel.
Well, I do have the Bloodhawk crab shield for a reason.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so I want to get him off the mount, obviously, but how?
Right. In this game, it's a matter of a successful attack.
Yeah.
Because you can specify the kind of attack you're making in a very open way.
I'll just say that I'll try to get them off the mount with my longsword.
It's not that unreasonable. This creature, although it is long, it is not, I keep saying it's enormous. Well, it's not, so huge. I mean, think of it as a very, very, very long horse, effectively. Especially when it rears its front half up off the ground. That's when he gets a height advantage. But in order to go anywhere, it has to go low. So he's not at the height of a horseman all the time. And actually has to maneuver to gain that kind of height. And right now, that kind of maneuvering is difficult because of all these other guys attacking the eel. Could everybody, 1, 2, 3, 4, could each of you roll a d20? Well, I check my Locatha against 86. Anybody get a 13 or higher?
Yes, I
Yeah.
20.
Okay. So and one more. One more, please.
One more.
And 18 and
14,
19.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So 3 of them have actually engaged the eel successfully. And so I'm not doing hit points, I'm just counting hits. Maybe I should do hit points. I'll do that in a moment. And so the eel.
Maybe I should.
Hold on here. 3 to 18. Unfortunately, yeah, one of them, however, does not survive. And so the eel has crushed one of them.
Even with the bless.
But the others are not. They are not. They all got a +1 to hit on that, and I'll have to remember a +1 damage as well, I think. But the maybe not. I can't remember. I don't think it's damage. I think it's +1 to hit and +1 to their reactions, or a bonus to their reactions. So I'll double check. But the point here is that you have +1 to hit and saves, I think.
It raises the morale of friendly creatures and raises their hit rolls.
Good. Yeah, that's what we're after. So, but what this means in more special effects is that when that guy is killed, the others don't even flinch. So, therefore, you have your attack on this guy. And the way this works in single combat, he will spot you coming up, trying to get a beat on him, and he will welcome this fight. He tells you, air breather. Where did they go? Oh, my name's. I am Vast. I serve Chief Skvisha. And you, he actually raises a hand and says, watch, all loyal followers of Skvisha. I, Vast, shall slay this air breather. And we move to something called important single combats. And in important single combats, then we are going to look at this thing called speed factor, and this is good because a longsword has a pretty good speed factor. In fact, it is a speed factor of 5, whereas the lance, heavy horse, speed factor of 8. So
good or bad?
it's better for you, because if it was charging upon you, that would be one thing.
Yeah,
But he's not, because the eel is engaged, so that means that he actually has to fight with this lance, which is used for heavy charges, as a fighting weapon. And that's not as good against the more maneuverable longsword. So that's a good thing. That means that you're going to get in the first hit, by definition. We should also be checking dexterity, but neither of you has a great dexterity, I think. Unless yours is 12, which that's not enough for a bonus or to make a difference in this case. So you're getting in that first hit because of the maneuverability. We don't roll initiative. We know the situation when we are locked in personal combat like this.
So standard.
And we might as well be a little bit clear about this. You have your roll to hit against armor class 6.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if there's any other circumstance. Everything else seems to kind of balance out in this situation, if you ask me. So roll and see if you could get that number, which you do. So you will roll a d8 for the damage.
Yeah.
It's
excellent.
Flat side.
Well, you have gotten the first blow. And to hit your armor class, which is 4 at the moment, right?
Yeah. Because of the crab shield.
Right.
Your words.
And yes. And to hit armor class 4 is not going to be good enough. Needed a 14. So you are you are so far not hit. You caught it on your shield. In fact, it was barely. So